Welcome everyone to Loud and Proud Orlando. Welcome to everyone here. About 50 people live already. Thank you for your support. This is Loud and Proud Orlando. My name is Luis Carlos Pineda. I'll be your host today. I'm here with Paola and John. Obviously, there are, you guys. I've gotten a lot of messages on my personal Twitter. Definitely, saying, guys, you guys, we need your takes on what happened on this weekend. Please go live, and I appreciate that for sure, and that's why we're here, because today, obviously, we're going to be talking about several topics. One of them is going to be, what happened in Philadelphia for sure. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the review of the first home loss in MLS history for the Lions against the Union. Additional players incoming, ? And then also we're going to be previewing Toronto FC, which is our second home game of the season, and hopefully a W in the bag. A lot of positives on this loss, believe it or not. A lot of negatives for sure, especially on the defensive end. But obviously it's one game, and I know a lot of people are definitely upset and disappointed, and I totally understand. But, this just started, and let's just hope that this is not another rocky start of the season for the Lions, and then they, rush back to win it all at the end of the second half of the season. I have a feeling that's not going to be this way, but definitely we have a lot to talk about. So thank you so much for your support. About 45 people live. Paola, how are you?
Could be a little better after that Saturday game,
Sure.
but I'm good. I'm good. Happy to be back with y'all, and I'm curious of your opinions about this game.
John, how are you, my friend? I know that you were there. I want to say hello to Steph as well. I know you guys were there. The atmosphere, 22,000 people.
Steph
You
is
know,
our official video taker of the
yeah,
games.
Yeah, she was getting some. She got the. It was great. The first, 7 minutes were great. I was sitting there in my seats. Pasalich scored a goal right in front of us. He celebrated. That was awesome. And then, it all kind of went sideways after that. So we'll talk about that, but not how you want to open the season, Luis. Man, I mean, we were very hopeful about a lot of things, and I think there were a lot of positives. But yeah, the team that we already had in especially the defense that was already there was nobody new in that back line, let us down. So
no, for sure.
when that happens, you can't just, when you give away errors like that, you can't expect to win the game. So very disappointing start to the season, but we'll get into it and talk about everything and why it all went wrong for the Lions. Ooh. And then
Yeah, but
Toronto next.
yeah, for sure. I mean, we're gonna analyze, what happened. We're gonna read your comments. Make sure you drop your comments. We're also gonna answer some questions that occurred on X while I was covering the game. So let's start with that real quick. Um, there's a couple of comments real quick here. I wanted to just kind of dive in briefly. Um, you know, Pretty much when the post presser was happening, I put a picture saying, hey, post presser is happening. Some people were telling me, just go home. You know what I mean? There's no need for you to cover this, and I said, maybe, sir, you're trying to beat traffic, but for sure, there's a question here. The first question says, um, Oscar Pareja took off Angulo too late, and whatever he did with the defense and this S ball that he was playing, I don't know. What are your thoughts, John, about Oscar's tactics from the first and second half? I mean,
Um,
what are your thoughts? I mean, do you feel like he's like 75% responsible of the loss against Philadelphia?
I think there are some stuff that's on him because I think that he is never we have never played well under Oscar against high pressing aggressively pressing teams. Like it was the old Red Bulls, remember, that they used to press us a lot, and that used to cause us a lot of problems. And that was kind of the same situation here. Now you got Bradley Carnell managing Philly, and they pressed us a lot. And then I think our back line, and I think a lot of our defense, just they tend to get a little bit flustered, and we just made some silly decisions. We didn't clear our lines well enough, and obviously Schlegel's goal was just, he gave it away. So in those scenarios, we have to be better, and I kind of put that on Oscar to plan better for teams that are going to press us and how to deal with that. So that is on Oscar. But then also, did he, tell Brecalo to play a pass not great towards Schlegel that Schlegel then miscontrolled and easily got put in the back of the net? No. So that's on the defense, and I think there was other moments that we'll talk about where you can blame other players as well that were, at errors, and it was just a lot of silly errors, and we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. So I don't blame Oscar for the loss. I blame Oscar for not planning better for a pressing team that Philly were going to be, but also he only can play the players he plays. And with Jansen coming out so last minute, I think that kind of threw things off, and just the whole back line's cohesion was off. And in that scenario where you're getting pressed aggressively, you really have to be on your game, and they have to be communicating. And if they're not doing that, then errors happen, and that's how they just give away 2 goals. And yeah, we just shot ourselves in the foot in the first kind of beginning of the second half there, and then that was it. That was very difficult to come back from.
A lot of people online are blaming Oscar for the loss. Do you feel that same way, Paola?
I mean, it's a 50-50, right? It can't, like John just said, it's part of Oscar, it's part of the players too. Players need accountability more than the coach, right? And you can see here that I don't know if they were mentally prepared to lose Jansen. Obviously, no, right? And I don't know if that affect them or make them like they were lost, because the back line looked lost, like not even close of what we saw against Miami a week ago. So I do feel that Angulo wasn't having his best time, right? And I feel that he should have came way before the time that he was substitute. But again, for me it's a 50-50. It's Papi's fault and players' fault too, because they needed to be accountable as well. Because Oscar Pareja wasn't playing the game, right? It was the team. So it's a 50-50 here.
Yeah. Let's read some comments, and then I'll give you guys what I believe on that question. William Diaz Granados, it looked like a circus in the back, like back line when Jensen was out. Sorry about that. JCB's 95. Buenas noches, everyone. Tough start of the season, but this is a marathon, not a sprint. The backline made too many mistakes that Philadelphia took advantage of. Alonso, next week, Bernadeschi. Buenas tardes, says Alonso. Thank you. Infinite BX, good evening. After what I saw, I'm very hopeful for this season, even with this loss. Thank you, Infinite. Appreciate it. Miss Francis, good evening. Any word on Jansen? I mean, the club doesn't really say much on on injuries. Lower body probably, but I believe it's they're gonna monitor it. Let's see if he's going to be in training tomorrow. Air Vega, vamos Orlando. Thank you so much. Marco Pašalić, burner. Yo, how you doing? Another Marco Pašalić burner account. I call him back dibujitos. I call him in Spanish. They're dibujitos. How you doing? So definitely this is the worst game to poop the bed. And I believe that last season, Schlegel, they wanted to make him a statue outside the stadium. He was one of the most solid center backs that we had. And after, in this game, I think he obviously made a terrible decision on just having an awful performance. Now, with Santos, it's been more consistent on bad performances than good performances. Our backs were terrible. I feel like Dagger, and especially he kind of had a tough time. Santos, I mean, it wasn't that line of Angulo and Santos was just like pretty much telling Philly, "Hey, you can attack us through here," you know.
It was an
And
open door.
it was an open door, yeah. So at some point, like Paola says, the players also have to be responsible. Oscar post press conference, also took responsibility on that because obviously, he's gonna stick by his players. You know what I mean? But definitely disappointment amongst the fans because 22,000 people were there. Our former coach Inchi was there as well visiting. So it was an important. It was an important moment also to give the fans, something that we're expecting, and unfortunately they didn't deliver. And I think they picked the worst game on doing so.
I
And
want to say on what JCB says that we took advantage of they took advantage of our mistakes. That's the thing. Like Philly are set up to do that. They're a high pressing team. They're trying to get in your face. They're trying to get you to make a mistake in your half, and that's what we did. So we kind of fell into their game plan. Now they executed their game plan very well. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to take that away from Philly. They did what they're supposed to do. They took their chances better than we did. That's what everybody said in the press conference, of course. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be making those mistakes to give them those chances, and that's what cost us. That's the reason we conceded 4 goals. We scored 2, goals for sure. We could have scored more goals. We could have scored 3 or 4. But the reason we conceded 4 was really our own fault more than anything. Philly probably deserved 1 or 2 of those goals out of their own play. The rest was all just us, making silly errors. And I also want to say what Paula says about, not having Jensen in there last minute, and I agree, but like that shouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean? Like, is our team really so
I agree
built around Jensen? He the only guy that can step up in the back line and make sure things are done properly and people are being marked and all of that. Without him, do we really? I've heard a lot, and you said a lot, Luis, about Schlegel and how much he has been like a leader, one that stepped up and is one of these captains. So why wasn't Schlegel the guy? Well, we know why, because he had a terrible performance. But
he had a horrible performance.
Either between Schlegel and Brekalo, that relationship is clearly not there. Like, it's there when you've got Janssen and Brekalo out. I feel like it's there when you've got Schlegel and Janssen out. But the two of them, we haven't really seen much. Clearly, that relationship is just not there yet.
I think the catalyst of this, when it comes to the Brekalo and the Schlegel dysfunction, starts of Brekalo being injured all the time. So I mean, I don't know if Paola agrees. I mean, Brekalo has been injured more than he's played. Yeah. So I think Schlegel inadvertently is more used to playing with Jansen, right? Now, what really is a little, and I don't know if you agree with me, and then I'll go with John, is this game it shows that it kind of tested our depth in the defensive side. You know what I mean? We move, they eventually Brekalo play in place of Jansen, and then Oscar moved Schlegel into the position of Robin. And I think that, I don't know if that had to do something to do with it, but definitely what John said was correct. I mean, zero chemistry, and half of that to me it's because Brekalo is injured more than he plays. I don't know if you agree with that, Paola.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. If you since Antonio Carlos left, Brekalo was supposed to be the substitute of him, but he has been always injured. So that's where Schlegel comes in and have this partnership with Jansen. And he's the veteran with Jansen right now. It's not Brekalo. So, and I agree with you, John and Luis. Like, I don't think because Jansen was out, they should be playing like this. It looked like a preseason, not even a preseason game, to be honest. Like, it was awful, man.
For sure. Let's read some comments. JCB's 95. Something I also noticed, the void Cartagena left. In cases like this, Cartagena gave the extra hand in the high press.
It's true.
We're very thin across the back line. Please put anyone at left back besides Santos. Santos was a doormat. He was basically flustered early on. Team lost, sadly. 11 players on the field. Marco is looking great. We'll talk about that in just a second. Yeah. So what JCB says right here about Cartagena, I mean, it's how do I say this? Cartagena is more of like a kind of like a destructor in the midfield. More of a guy that is used to tackling and playing very physical. He's not a creator. Atuesta is more of like a true eight. Like he's more of like he's an eight that can go into the attack. And I mean, we saw in the game. I mean, Atuesta had a phenomenal first half. I think, but obviously you're not gonna go and see a Tuesta doing the Cartagena tackles, you know what I mean, or pushing and shoving. He's not that type of player. That's why Cesar is there to help out, and also this is a team, guys. Of the past 2 seasons, Oscar, what he's been trying to do, even with Duncan McGuire when he was completely fit, and I don't know if John agrees. This is a team that they all defend and attack. And it's something that it really cost Faku as well. And some adjustment. It cost Ojeda when he first came some adjustment. It cost Ramiro some adjustment. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is like with that Tuesta, like he's already played in the league. Brecalo has already been here a year. Like the only people that needed to adjust really are like the guys like this Pašalić and Rodriguez are the only ones that are gonna really have adjustment period now, like this year, as an excuse. So for me, like especially the back line, like they've all been here over a season. There's no one really out there new that performed, that didn't perform well. Like Pašalić performed well. I thought, Rodriguez, when he came on, he was perfectly fine at that point. You were chasing the game anyway. Can't blame the guy. Atuesta played pretty decently well. You can see why he's there. Of course, he has some downfalls in the fact that he can't defend as well. But, he's definitely makes up for that in being more of that eight. Angulo had a horrific game. I think what was more disappointing, Angulo missing chances is something we've seen a lot. Of course, that just is Angulo. He's not the best finisher. If he was, then he wouldn't be playing for Orlando City because he'd had everything, right? So that's the thing about Angulo. But also what annoyed me about him was that the first goal that we gave away.
One, yeah.
He did something I've never seen him do. He basically was very cocky in our own half and said, I'm going to dribble out with the ball. Should have made a pass, gave the ball away. And then what was even worse was he failed to get back and recover. And they came straight up that left side. And Santos was to blame a lot for this game, but he got completely cut open there because he was 2v1 after Angulo gave the ball away and didn't go back and recover it. So if Angulo's in there, right, because he's a workhorse. So if he stops being a workhorse and he's just a guy who's very fast, then you got like Juan out there. You see what I'm saying? So if he's not producing at the other end with assists and goals, and he's not doing the defensive workhorse stuff that Oscar wants him to do, then I'm questioning why Angulo's there. Most of the time he's doing that. So to see him not track back, I think was really bad. And that I put that goal mainly on him. And then I just think also he had a really bad game offensively as well. He missed a lot. So Angulo didn't play well at all. The whole of the back line was questionable, especially I think, Santos, we talked about a lot, he's been a problem all preseason. And, we really need to do something about that because right now we have Santos or nobody. Oh yeah, like for sure. Like I'm not really like, I think Angulo just had a bad game. I'm not going to say he should drop him from the team at all. I think that's people that are saying that. I think that's just a reaction to this one game, of course. But like I said, I want to see him doing what we know him for, being hardworking. If he's not doing that, then yeah, we should drop him.
Yeah.
But that whole left side was just bad. Like
it was
Dagger was a lot better, but he still got.
It wasn't his best game.
The second goal that Philly scored, he really should have closed down Quinn Sullivan a little bit better. He's just kind of standing off a little bit. Sometimes he tends to do that where he doesn't fully commit to closing a guy down, and even it doesn't seem threatening at the time, but then the guy pulls off a great pass. So that's something Dagger needs to work on. But him and Pašalić on that right side had a much better game than Santos Angulo on the left side, where they just didn't defend or attack. It was just the weakness of our team. Cesar did everything that he could do in that midfield, but there's just him right now, right? You don't have, you just, Atuesta's not putting in that same amount of work there. So, yeah, and then I think Muriel is a whole other conversation, but our
we'll
subs,
discuss it
Alex
just a
Freeman
second.
came on and did a lot. I think he changed the game a bit, but outside of that, the subs didn't really do much, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, but I mean, we knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is like we can't expect, like Alex Freeman is the only sub we can expect something from, and that's all it was.
So
Like,
you know,
there's no
to the
subs there that
people-
can come in and be like, yo, I'm gonna drag us into the game and get us some goals.
right? I mean, to the people that complain about Muriel, you know, which I've heard, you know,
Hey man, I'm complaining about Muriel.
definitely, no, but I'm just saying. I mean, y'all knew this was gonna happen.
I mean, dude.
So I mean, why
yeah.
crying on the spoiled milk? You know what I mean?
I gotta say though, but here's the thing: watching him hit the bar from like 3 yards, Luis, was just so enraging.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. It might be like a very visceral reaction, but also like I put that tweet out about like, you know, I've had enough of Muriel, and it got like 100 likes. So obviously the world is feeling the same as we do, Luis. Like people are pissed. The man, you know, he's a very nice guy. He smiles all the time. Great dude. Looks good in the suit, sure, but doesn't put the ball in the back of the net. You're number 9.
Got swindled.
Where's the Atalanta Muriel? You
right, we got like, right. So the fans feel that they got swindled
because this dude is not Muriel. He's some faux ass man who is not the guy that I used to play with on FIFA 14 and smash people with, bro. Like, I used to love Ultimate Team Muriel. Where is the Ultimate Team Muriel?
Where is Muriel?
He is gone, bro. So that's my Muriel rant. I wasn't gonna go there. You got me amped up.
I feel John's banter on Muriel, and I think is definitely well justified. I don't know how you feel about that, Paola.
No, I agree. Like that was the last drop of the cup to say, okay, dude, like come on, you're 3 inches away to make a freaking goal.
It makes the fans feel that they got gypped.
And yep.
You know, it's just, I mean, I'm gonna say it like it is. You know, I think it makes the fans saying like, you know, we just paid $3 million for this guy. You know, you know, like taking space.
Bench. Exactly.
You know, out of a roster, but it's
he's making so much money and producing so little. Like Facu was doing way more than him on half the money, or even less than them. I don't even know. I think he's on something like 4 or 5 million a year, and the production is not there. And so it's like the other DPs in the squad are producing way more for like half or even less money than that. So it's wild.
That's the problem. Like they get comfortable that they get paid all that money and they don't care.
Yeah, and or not only that, like
it's bad for the squad dynamics, surely.
Exactly, or you know, it would have been great also to cut losses with him and then just give him in the free agency, but they're not going to do that. I mean, knowing Orlando and how they do their deals, that's not, that was not going to happen. Let's pray on the rosary that that he's going to have better games coming up. Let's read some comments real quick. It says William Diaz, we all feel the same about Muriel. Says thank you so much. It says
I bummed us out talking about Muriel, man. I feel like we need to talk about somebody else to bring our spirits back up. A certain Croatian.
Gnocchi says Pašalić was awesome. Ojeda's fine. Freeman was good. Everyone was scrambled, nervous, and confused. It says I was excited for Friedman. Very good coming off the bench. Says JC Beast. I agree with John on this one. Says Stream Jesus. I do agree with him as well. Play Angulo at the left back and start Nico on the left. I don't know how I feel about that. We'll discuss it in a little bit. I would love if someone has the ability to do a computer app on stats. Okay, I watched the 30 again from where Atuesta fit. From what I see is he's with the attached, not as a defender. He never tackled or broke up an attack. The first goal was a poor kick clear. I don't know what you guys expect on some of our players that just got to the team. I don't know if you guys are watching Blue Lock too much, if you're an anime fan. I don't know if you're watching Captain Tsubasa a lot. I don't know if you watch that also, if you're an anime fan, but clearly it's not going to. Stats really are just stats. I think people got the wrong. I don't know if people got the wrong idea on Atuesta. I just feel like it's the first game, man. Like Atuesta, I think overall did great. Now,
in my opinion, he was solid. Like throughout the.
I mean, he's gonna have a lot of assists. I mean, what do people expect? To put his face when the other team is like attacking, like for him to like sacrifice his body and break a shoulder, like only a few players can do that, and I don't think Atuesta in his short career will ever do that. I just don't really understand what kind of expectations people are putting on some of these players when we've said here in the pod for so many years, like over 2 seasons now, that we have our players that have, when they come from, they have really struggled. It's not like we're getting like, somebody that was a star aside of Facu in their home league in their country. And, we're getting players that Oscar has literally pushed and developed and literally tapped into their magic, and they've delivered. And I feel like in this game, I think William had a great comment. It says here that the new guys outplay the veterans, and that brings me to the second point. Let's talk about a little bit about the positives, and let's start with this guy right here.
This is Atuesta. Good combination play from Orlando City into the penalty area and smashed home by the newcomer, Marco Pašalić.
Now, this is a man that's not afraid of taking a shot, John.
Oscar Pareja said the pressure was on this man to replace the goal-scoring production of Facu Torres, and so far, so good.
They go back a couple of steps, though. Watch on the inside what you get here in the relationship between Araujo and Atuesta. Ojeda recognizes that as he drops down into the pocket, that space vacates.
Araujo and Atuesta.
Sudden, Atuesta pops up through. He drags one of the Union runners with him. They commit forward. That's why all of this is readily available just inside the top.
All right, John, thoughts? Brace.
Yeah, man, I think it's exactly, like we talked about. Like he got brought in to do what Facu did. He's a right-sided winger with a left foot, and that's exactly what we saw. I mean, he all game was getting into those pockets where he's cutting in from that right side into a little bit further central into the field. He'd pick up the ball. He'd look for ball, like spray it across the other side to Ojeda or to Angulo. And in this situation, he was just running through the Philly left back had already gone way up the field and left a massive pocket of space. And he went through, and I think he did what he's going to do better than what Facu did, in the fact that he's just very clinical, and I think he's got quite a powerful left foot from that range, and he just knows how to go low and hard and put the ball in the bottom of the net. Like I think often, I'm reminded of the end of last year, right? And Facu had that chance against New York, and he was bearing down in goal, and it was a wide open goal. And what does he do? He puts it like right, chest height right in front of the keeper, and it's easy for him to save. Pašalić, first ever game, debut for the club, all the pressure's on, perfect situation, and cool, calm, collected, buries it, no questions. So yeah, you can look at the stats and go, oh, okay, well, Facu scored this many goals in MLS, so that we got to replace that, and we're replacing with a guy from the Croatian league, and he only scored 3 goals. Oh no, but it doesn't matter. The dude could bury the ball in the back of the net, and he's already got 2. This game 1, so I'm think he's on at this pace. He's definitely going to get more. He's definitely going to get more than Facu in his opening year, for sure. So yeah, Pašalić, hello, welcome. Sorry that our defense sucked on your debut, bro. It should have been a 3-0. I said What if he gets a hat trick, Luis?
He almost had
if
a
our
hat trick.
defense was solid and we'd have had a nice clean sheet, he would have got the hat trick. He would have been feeling confident. We would have been rolling. But instead, the man is having to crawl, get us. We have to leave him on for 90 minutes just to try and get back in the game. So, great debut, but yeah, the rest of the team kind of let him down, and I felt for him on that press conference. I'm like, dude,
No, yeah, it was. I mean,
hopefully, you can see us play better with you soon.
He was frustrated for sure. I mean, I have the stats here from the game. So thank you to Opta. You guys are the real MVPs. Shots, 6 shots by Marco Pašalić the whole entire game. 6 shots on goal. And the counterpart of chances created, shots on target, crosses attempted. He won every single stat in this game. And I feel like they're developing a secret partnership that's been brewing since he arrived. And they started hitting the gym. They started hitting, doing sequences in attack. And I believe it's Martin Ojeda. I don't know, Paola, do you feel like there's a connection brewing between Martin and Pašalić?
If you looked into that clip, there's like the time of gel, right, has passed. Like it's like that little clip right there has been for years them of playing. And yes, it's amazing how Ojeda, with his limited, language of understanding English, can already understand Marco and how to play with him, right? And I saw an interview of Ojeda saying it's the same sport, right? It's the same language in the field. So I'm the positive of the game. I feel that Ojeda and it's a threat in the field. So I'm happy for that relationship, even though that he just got here and there's that there's a trial period of time of gelling with the team. I think Marco is already past that, and we don't. He knows that there's no time to do it, and he demonstrated on Saturday with Ojeda, and that wasn't the only pass too. There was a couple of instances that we had. Marco tried to make a goal like in what seconds of the game, like 30 seconds into the game, he already almost had his first goal, and I think it was a pass from Ojeda. So by all means, I am up for this brewing to be a positive for the rest of the season.
Do you feel, John, that they're going to be scoring a lot of goals? I think so. I think so.
I mean, both of them have said it, right? Like it's like Paula said, is soccer is a universal language, so they know how to play with each other for sure. And I think also what I was talking about before, when you like Facu just kind of held the ball a bit too much, in my opinion, and
that extra touch, right, John?
Yeah, the way that we were counterattacking was like, and especially that first goal. And somewhat the lead up to the second goal, like the free flowing counterattacks that were occurring between Angulo, Ojeda, Pašalić, where they were just interchanging roles of who was kind of playing the other one through balls or playing a ball over the top, or getting the ball played inside of them and laying it off to the wing backs. It was really nice to see, and I think often Facu just would kind of slow that up by wanting to take too many touches, hold the ball too long. And I think Pašalić is he's much more free flowing. And I think that's how Ojeda wants to play as well. They all want to move the ball up the field at a very quick pace in order to have more chances be created instead of kind of dwelling on the ball like a possession team would, which is obviously how Oscar wants to play as well. So I think this is, I think a lot of all of this hopefully coming together in the attack is what we want. Like Atuesta, again, being more of that 8, less of the 6 that Wilder was, actually linking, like you saw him getting into the box and playing 1-2s around the box with players. He played he received the ball at one point on the edge of the box and had a really nice shot that was unlucky not to score. So he's definitely playing higher up the field, connecting our attack further up the field than ever before. So all of that means that we're more of an attacking team. We're having to make a little bit of sacrifices. Maybe that was some of the reasons that we conceded so many goals. But I think it's more to do with the fact that we failed to deal with the press and just made a lot of stupid errors.
Yeah, for sure. 110%. We have another positive coming up. We're going to read some comments. Guilla Carlos says, Facu also spent too much on his hair. Tony yes, the Ojeda Pašalić duo is insane. That's definitely a positive. James Regis, Pašalić also showed a great ability to keep the ball even from multiple defenders. It's something cool that I want to bring you guys to your attention is when in the post-press conference, when they asked him about the rhythm of the MLS, he said, well, it's a little slower than I thought it was going to be. In Europe, it's a little faster. So if he is fast in the MLS and he's saying that it's slow, that means that he has another thing coming in the next couple games. He has other levels of speed, kind of like a BMW or like an Audi. He has different types of speeds there, man. That guy's insane for sure. And for the price that we got him, I think it was a great. I think he's going to produce a lot for Orlando. Good for the front office there. Tony yes, transfer window ends April 23rd. We still have time to make some transfers. I just think a backup left back for Santos would be huge. Any other positions? Do you have any insights there, John?
No, I mean, I think that kind of leads us nicely onto our next section anyway. And, of course, the season has started, right? But that doesn't mean that the transfer window is closed yet. It doesn't close until mid-April. So we've still got time to figure that out. And Santos is a real problem. We've talked all preseason about the need for an actual left back. I think the problem right now is Santos is our only left back. He's not playing well. You don't want to put Tahir Reed Brown in as an 18-year-old. I think that's just too much pressure to be like, okay, go be the better left back than Santos. I don't think he's there yet. So really, we just don't have and I think it's a really good left back. I think it's a big problem. I think there was a period last year where Santos was playing well, but at the beginning of last year, he played really badly. And I think we're looking at, I hope it's not going to be a very bad beginning to the year again. But if everyone else starts to figure out their game and he's still playing badly, we're still going to concede because your left back is going up against all the best right wingers in the league. And so He's going to get killed week in, week out. We need a better left back. We need a better left-footed defender. What they're going to do, if they're really unsure about against Toronto, which we'll talk about a bit, they might just put Kyle Smith in. But again, he's not a left-footed fullback. He's just going to be a very defensive fullback option. It's going to be an inverted fullback, just defending and playing balls out with his right foot, not attacking up the left wing at all. So, yeah, we've talked about it a lot. We need a left back. We have the option going out and getting players. We have TAM. We've got money in the bank, right? We need to be able to go out and spend that. We've got the option of being able to register some players. Obviously, Nico and Mikey have gone and they left spaces in the squad. I think we just need to go out and find a proven MLS left back, someone who is currently at a team and is not in the starting lineup, a left back who is currently in an MLS club that has played in MLS for multiple years, but right now isn't in the starting 11. That sounds perfect. Bring him right in, plug and play, Luis. That's what we need. We don't need a young up-and-coming left back who's still improving in this league. We don't need a foreign left back.
Let's bring Joao back.
We don't need another South American defender. I'm going to say that, Luis. I got to say, I don't want another like Brazilian left back, please. Can we just have an American left back? Breck Shea, please. Fine. I would take Breck Shea. He wasn't even really a left back, but
I'm just joking. But he's played left back before.
He did. He played better left back than Santos. I'll take Breck Shea all day. We need something like Yotun. Hell, I'd take Yoshi at left back right now.
No, Yoshi's he's
we need someone who can defend that left side and is not going to just let guys go past him because I like Santos, but the upside is not there.
He's a liability right now.
It's
Santos,
not there. He's not good enough attacking wise to justify the bad holes in defense that he leaves.
Yeah, and I mean the whole point of the team in transition, passing the ball to Santos. Every team already figured out you cut them off, and those crosses won't get there. And it feels like even with Facu was in the team, that's all they will do: pass the ball, give it to Santos, cross from Santos, wait for a rebound or a header or things like that. And I think there's got to be more weapons than that. And I think it's becoming too predictable, and I think that's also an Oscar right there, why they're going always towards Santos here. You know what I mean? So in the attacking third, in this game, we saw great things, honestly, I feel. And I'm going to keep reading comments, and then we're going to talk about Alex Freeman real quick. It says, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Atuesta's offense, go back and watch him. We're going for a grade. We live for defense. Dagger is not a natural right back. Recolo. Okay. All right. Well, fine. Atuesta, it's not Cartagena for sure. It was a bad day in the office. I mean, 4-2, I mean, it could have definitely been at least a draw, but they didn't take their chances, unfortunately. But I believe overall, I think, it's just me, guys. I mean, it's just my personality. I just don't like to cry over the spoiled milk. It's done. We lost. We just gotta.
I think I'm excited by having Atuesta.
I'm excited, man.
I think it makes us more attacking.
Yeah,
and I think that's good, because before we just kind of sit back with our two defensive teammates,
exactly.
and it was very safe. But like, if people want exciting games, you're gonna lose some 4-2. I don't want to lose the home opener 4-2.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
But we're gonna win some games 5-3.
We're definitely gonna win
3-0, 4-1. Like, if you're playing more attacking soccer, there's going to be more goals, but there's going to be more goals conceded. Like, you can't, that's the, beauty of the game. You can't build your team in a way where you can cover everything. You just got to trust that Cesar is enough, which I believe the man is most of the time, right? If we play well as a back line with Cesar covering in front, I think we'll be fine. Would gain most teams, really.
And you have to understand,
and Atuesta doing something. And Pašalić is, Noki says Pašalić plays great defense, especially for an attacker. 100%. Like, he's doing a better job on defense than Facu ever did.
And also, Atuesta may surprise you, Gnocchi, and then Oscar may tell him, hey, I need you to can you do this a little bit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he will. I don't want too much of that. I don't want Oscar turning into a fully defensive fullback.
He may play a little bit more rough. You know what I mean? I mean, right now, for one game in the season, and I think he only had 5 games since he arrived, like 5 practices, and then they got the Inter Miami game. Like, it's too. I think for what we've seen of Atuesta, I don't want to judge him unfairly. You know what I mean? I think we gotta give him a little. You know what I mean?
Decent. I think a pretty decent.
I think he's been pretty decent.
Home opener. I think obviously, it wasn't perfect, but like I think I was encouraged by some of the attacking sequences I saw him get involved, for sure, and the link up play that he's providing, definitely.
And I didn't know this, but he suffered an ACL injury in Palmeiras. So I play sports, and I come from bad injuries, and coming to play mentally, it costs. So maybe we haven't seen that, that hustle from Atuesta, being afraid of getting a knock or something. So I understand if that is something that he's suffering right now. I understand where he come from. So maybe just give him a little bit of time and see what he can defensively do in the future of Orlando.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna be reading a couple more comments here real quick. Do you think the late signings hurt us because they had less time to gel? Says Miss Francis.
No, not at all.
That's a no.
I think everything that was bad about Saturday was caused by players that were been here for years. So no.
Veterans.
Yeah, they just started this season very badly by making errors, silly errors, and stuff that. What did Oscar say, Luis? It was like doesn't belong in this level of the game.
Yeah, they were rookie. He pretty much said these are rookie mistakes.
Schlegel to the max,
should have not made
right?
these mistakes.
We knew that there's a capacity for Schlegel to make serious errors, and he did that. And I don't think any of them else like I think that second goal that came across and Santos didn't really cover his man well, and you can blame it a little bit for Pedro really not coming out and claiming the ball. There was just errors here and there, and we just basically shot ourselves in the foot, and especially in such a short period of time. And I think that's symbolic of like we go down a goal and we lose our heads, and then we go down another goal. In the beginning of that second half, the goal that they conceded immediately to go down 2-1 threw them off, and that's why Brekalo and Schlegel made that error for 3-1. And that's the real problem there. Like, you can't compound your errors. Everybody who's a coach will tell you what matters most is how you react. Yes, you have make a mistake, you made an error, but you got to react well. And we didn't react well, and then we were 2 goals down, and then you're chasing the game.
Yeah, they pooped the bed completely in the second half.
Yeah, they pooped the bed in the beginning of that second. That's
mean,
literally. By the 60th minute, I was like, "Well, we already pooped the bed.
Yeah,
this game is over."
Yeah, we had no diapers for someone to change our diaper, man. It was terrible. I mean, it was a poor delivery by like William Granados was saying, by the veterans, by the people that the core of the team, the Brekalos and the Schlegels and the Angulos. These are people that they have set the past 2 seasons. Because of the great performances, they've set their expectations on the fans. The fans have high expectations of them, and in this game, they picked the worst game to poop it. And I'm trying to speak in layman's terms, like I feel like that's the case. Obviously, I think the Toronto game is probably going to be another story, because now I think they're going to have a fire inside to definitely for that not to happen ever again. Deportivo F says, what's John's opinion on Galese? So talking about that, we have the goal, and so if you want to, you were talking about that you feel like this was Galese's somewhat error. So let's watch it real quick, and then let's pause
wearing the captain's band for Orlando.
So right there, I feel also Santos was late in the coverage too. I don't know how you think.
Galese for sure.
Yeah, I think it's City. You could say 50. You could say 50.
First,
I would say 40, 60.
Yeah, Dagger doesn't really close him down well enough. Then the ball comes, a great ball by Quinn Sullivan.
Yeah,
across, and it all happens so fast. But Santos lets the guy bring the ball down. He's on the wrong side of his man. But then I think, near post for Pedro, it's very instantaneous, but it's not so much for me that Pedro doesn't make the save. It's more that ball coming across, I want him to come out and jump and claim that. I think if you look at a lot of these goals, they're all happening very close to Pedro's goal in situations where I want him to come out and get the ball. And I think that's something you would see Jansen do a lot. Like, he clears the ball away from very close. When those balls come whipping into the near post, it's often Jansen's the one who clears it out instead of Pedro. And I think without Jansen here, both the first goal, this goal, you see those balls coming in close near the goal, and Pedro didn't react. Pedro doesn't get to them. And then there's, other players that put them in. I genuinely think that's what it is.
Yeah, and again, that's side from Santos as well,
Yeah,
but
especially,
I do agree.
But
he could have done more there.
He's always standing right off the goal line, clearing those balls out of there. And with Brekalo and Schlegel, they're neither of them are doing that role. Neither of them are sitting back that deep guarding like that. And I think that you just see that, that happens.
Paola, will you bench Pedro?
A player? What was that? Lee, sorry.
Will you bench Pedro? Just kidding.
No. No, I'm looking at Schlegel right there. Does he?
Let's get another keeper here. Let's get another keeper, guys.
Well, they're all running back. Yeah.
Yeah,
But this one, more than anything, it's like this is like the goal. The first goal, I would say. Sorry, this goal I would say is like I'm least mad about because it's a very good goal. You know what I mean? Like it's really a very good goal. The one that they scored first, Luis, I think was exactly what I'm talking about, where it was the ball just comes across the front of the goal and nobody clears it out. Nope. Pedro doesn't rush out to get it. There's no defender to clear it. And it's an easy tap in. And then that happens again later That's what I'm referring to. That's what we want to see. And I think it's more to do with the fact that Pedro and like Jansen have that communication, I think.
Yeah.
And just when you don't have him in there, again, it's the same thing. It's like, who's the one being like, nah, I'm going to get that ball out of here.
Maybe
That's
Pedro
like
was
you say,
expecting that from Schlegel or
that's what I'm
from
saying. Like,
Santos.
That communication broke down. No one's stepping up to clear that ball out of there,
But in those scenarios, I think you and Paul also mentioned it, come on, guys. I mean, you guys got to step up. It's your opening game. You know what I mean? Like, there's 22,000 fans. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be better, man. I understand the pain of the fans. You got to be better. And I know that for them, it really hurt because I saw them after the game and, they all looked pretty depressed.
Yeah.
It was Pedro's birthday that was coming up. They were going to have a little get together. That all of that got canceled because of the mood in the atmosphere in that.
The 4-2
Yep,
home opener
there was
loss.
not going to be no party at all.
Mhm.
So
Pedro was thinking about the cake. That's why he.
now this right here, this was, dude. You should have seen me in that press box, bro.
But look at the positioning right now of our center backs. Like,
yeah,
Brecalo is playing like it. Are we going into a 3-back here? Is that the plan? Because there's
That's
so
what I
much
thought
space,
when I
and
saw that.
also,
Mhm.
It's not a great pass from Brecalo, but like Schlegel's looking the wrong way.
yeah.
But when you watch this, he's not facing the ball when it comes in.
They
He
mentioned in
goes
the first
too early.
half that there is goal scoring pass.
Makes a horrible touch. So, yeah.
They mentioned in the first half that there is goal
Listo. I cringe, Harry.
scoring pass. Here's a gift.
There was nothing that Pedro could do. I mean, you could say, he could have done a split.
Nah, nothing.
He could have stretched his arm. You know what I mean? There was nothing he
Yeah.
could do. It was just, this was just like the title of our show today, blunder. This is a synonym of a blunder. This is a blunder. And these blunders, unfortunately, and I don't know if you agree with me, John, could make you lose championships, make you lose playoff contention. These blunders should not happen, especially,
I mean, on opening day, these blunders put you bottom of the table.
Exactly.
That's where they put you right now.
110%.
That's where we are right now, bottom of the East. So, it's. And the thing is, what's so frustrating is just when you feel like Schlegel is taking the steps forward like last year, and I don't think like I was comfortable with him being like, oh, he's going to be, error prone free, like he's going to be a new guy, but you didn't expect first game that he's going to make such a horrible error to lead to goal like that. So it's just the defense, when it's bad, it's really bad. You know what I mean? When they're on point and they're all working together, it's like, great, our defense is pretty good. But when they're bad, like they were at the beginning of last year, it's bad. So let's hope that they can figure it out fast, because these two opening games, and this kind of brings us nicely on to Toronto, it's two opening games. You want 6 points from those two opening games at home. And we've already lost 3. If we go into, another game week and we come out of it with 0 points still, like that's a nightmare start. So we've got to recover against Toronto. So let's go.
I don't think. Don't think.
Sorry, I forgot about something. But you go.
No, go ahead, man. What did you say?
I was gonna say on our last section, Soria is still. Apparently, we're still going back and forth. I think that was the latest report we have on transfers, correct? With the club and trying to get a deal figured out for another D mid to come in. So that would be good.
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, if there's a better time to bring Soria in, this is the time.
I mean, I want to hear about a left back, but any player,
if Soria could play the left back, hey, Soria. Yeah, but
I don't think he does. I think he's a D mid. I'm pretty sure. But hey, we took Dagger and made him a left back. So there you go. Maybe this is the answer.
Talking about info, I do have some info as well before I go to Paola. Before we go to the standings and talk about Toronto real quick. There is a rumor coming from a source, which I've talked about it before here. Markash News from Albania. I'm going to show it right now, right here. And there's a rumor about an Orlando. This right here. Exclusive. Fortaleza attacking midfielder Kervin Andrade from Venezuela is attracting interest from Orlando City. The 19-year-old Brazilian side, blah, blah, blah. Like, I confirmed this by one of my Brazilian colleagues, well respected. I want to say hello to Christian Moraes from Rio and Band, and he's the guy who's covered for a lot of big outlets there. This is false. I do want to say it's like we've asked. Well, because of my friend and the friendship that we have, we asked Fortaleza about this guy, and it's false. They're not selling him. He's a Venezuelan starlet kid. He's a star kid. I mean, this kid's gonna probably play in Europe. I mean, he killed it in the under-20s South American Championships. I mean, I would love for him to come to Orlando for sure. He's a attacking mid. He's a 10. So I would love for him to come. You know, I mean, we could put Ojeda on the left. You know what I mean? For sure. But I do want to say it's false. Those rumors. You know, I think you wanted to share something, John. Can you share it one more time?
Yeah, I was just trying to find a good Augustin Soria. I was just trying to find the latest on him and see if there's any updates on that. There's just an article here. We know, of course, we reported on it. We're apparently in negotiations with Defensor. They, I imagine, want more money, right? I think it's the
sure.
they're like, hey, you guys sold Facu, you know, you're gonna pay us some more money. But we're going back and forth over Augustin Soria. He's the D mid out of Uruguay that we're interested in. I don't think it's a huge amount of money if we'd have to buy him in. We're probably arguing over $500,000 or so either way. So yeah, let's see if he's going to be the next guy in, but we need more than him, a D mid, a left back, probably another striker. Then I'll be happy. Yeah, I think that's our shopping list, right, Paula?
I was going to ask if he can play left back, I will take him.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, right. It went from, oh no, we definitely need a D mid. You know, we got Atuesta. He's like, okay, they signed Chabet. We've got Colin Gusky. Oh, that was another thing that happened on game day. Colin Gusky and Karabaya called into the squad on temporary contracts. Mm-hmm. But we got that sorted, and now it's like left back is what we need. So,
yeah, I mean, definitely. Don't you feel it? I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, or I'm just crazy. There's a guy that played the right back position that had a tremendous game. His name is Alex Freeman, and he's been having a tremendous preseason. He already played really fantastic with OCB last season. I mean, it's being very. I mean, all I'm going to say is this: is someone drops in that defensive back line, Freeman is hungry, man. He wants to eat. If he can
play left back, I mean, I feel like he's going to attack in a different way. Like he'd have to run up the wing and then stop and cut it back. You know, he can't really cross with his left, I don't believe. I don't think he's left-footed like that, but you could probably play him at right, you know, left back and let him be like Kyle Smith, where he can go up the wing and be a bit more physical, but be a right-footed, left-sided player. It's possible, probably.
Look,
he almost Freeman had a goal.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Paula.
No, I was gonna say he almost got a goal, and the control that he put on that ball when he got it, like he was so passive, you wouldn't notice that I mean he's not a rookie anymore, but you get what I'm saying. He doesn't have a lot of minutes with the first squad. Yeah. So he was like calm, looking for spaces, not, you know, passing. Not rush passing. That was the word that I was gonna say. So I do want to see more of Freeman. And if he can figure out how to play the left back, by all means, I will accept that offer right now.
Yeah, so. I mean, he came out with a lot of heart. He came out as this was his chance. And those are the type of players that we need. I mean, talking about chances created, he had 3 chances created, you know, and one of them was a goal, you know. Then he had 10 passes completed in the final third for a back. That is a huge number. He also had, he was one of the best players in the second half. Yeah, he had the most, dribbling skills there on that side. So, I mean, the kid is making a case on if somebody falls asleep on the wheel on that back line, that kid's going to take your job, in my opinion. So, warning shots for Dagger, warning shots for Santos. There are hungry players right there waiting for an opportunity. So that's just my take. I don't know if you feel the same, John. There about Freeman.
Yeah. You see, Jeffrey O, you've read my mind exactly. I think the better solution, and in fact, I know that he can do this because I've talked to him about it before, is put Dagger at left back. He's actually played left back before.
There
Way
you go.
back in Iceland. He's more versatile. And I think putting Dagger at left back, let him cut inside and be in the midfield as a kind of inverted left back, and then let Alex Freeman run that whole right wing. That is a better solution, in my opinion. In fact, I would do that right now for Toronto because I
There
think
you
Are you
go.
listening, Pareja?
Dagger could handle it. Probably
Puppy.
no problem. In fact, it would suit him better because you know how he likes to cut inside and be part of the midfield anyway. Just let him do that on his right foot from the left side. Let Alex have that whole right side. Right now, those are our best fullbacks. So if you figure out a way to put them both on the field at the same time, and Dagger's way more flexible, I think, than Alex would be at that age. It's a lot, I think, to be like, okay, you're in the squad, but you have to play the wrong position. Whereas if you say, okay, Alex, you be the right back, Dagger, you be the left back, it definitely could work.
Plus,
I'd sooner just
Angulo,
go sign another left back, but
right. But
if they,
Short-term solutions right there,
also,
John.
that's the kind of thing Oscar will end up doing anyway, right? If Santos
Yeah.
kills us so much, he'll be like, I got to figure
Yeah.
this out. That's how we ended up with Dagger at right back in the first
Exactly.
place, right?
That's
or Gerard
So-
Germain's going to start playing left back. This is what I'm
I
talking
think
about.
Jeffrey O, and Mr. John Rollins have been brewing this idea of Dagger as a left back for over 2 seasons now. This is insane.
It's better
man.
than Angulo because Angulo's
Becoming
not
a
left-footed
reality.
either.
That's great.
Honestly.
This is history in the making.
But why
No,
does it come down to day one of the season? We're trying to figure out who's going to play left back. That's not good.
Now, I do feel if I take your example, John, and Paola as well, you can mention that. I feel Angulo having Dagger behind, he's going to be even more attacking minded because he's going to feel, okay, even though Rafa, I don't have to run back to help Rafa out. I can just kind of, Dagger's going to take care of that. I definitely feel more confident with Dagger there. Maybe. We'll see. But I think it's a great idea. The hunker down. I'm old enough to see Alex's dad play in the NFL. Put him anywhere. He's going to ball no matter what, and he has skill, says the hunker down. Tony, yes, this is the best time to experiment with the lineup since it's the beginning of the season, said Tony. Thank you so much. Jeffrey, thank you so much, Jeffrey, for your great comments. Appreciate it. Freeman seems like the most dangerous player in the air on corners. He can head. That's right. I think he's really good. What's up? Did we get a new left back yet? Laughing my butt off. Can Freeman play a left back? We couldn't hurt. Haha. I agree. How long is Duncan out for? I think he'll be out for
until May.
Yeah. So a couple of more months for sure.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So and we have Muriel as a 9 right there. Tony, as we traded a good defense for a good offense over the break. Laugh out loud. It says Orlando 5, Toronto 0. If that's the case, I think this would be something that the fans could be like, okay, well, you pooped the bed on the first game. We kind of threw away that home advantage record, which I think that's what hurts the most. I'll be honest with you. Quoting the band called Rascal Flatts. If you like, have you heard of Rascal Flatts? What hurts the most? Just put it on your iTunes. That's what all Orlando fans were listening to after this game. And it's because of the record, Paola. The record. It was a home record, unbeaten since inception. Since John was in selling merch right there, it was unbeaten. That Kaká free kick, I remember, 2015, unbeaten,
New York.
never lost, and we lost. And I think that's what hurts the most for a lot of the OG fans, which I totally understand. It says Raffanello got his share of Ruckus kids heckling. So Rafa got heckled? Oh, wow. I didn't know. I agree with everything you all said about Santos, says William Diaz. Thank you so much. Gnocchi, Pašalić plays great defense, especially for an attacker. Yeah, I totally agree. So we're going to talk about Toronto. Coming up, Bernardeschi. We have, who else is there? Insigne left, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. They don't have it.
Yeah, Insigne left. So here's Toronto right here. They tied 2-2 against DC United. Christian Benteke scored again. And this is their lineup right here. Sean Johnson, former UCF goalkeeper. It's 5 defending right here. We're going to see the comeback of Richie Larea back in Central Florida. Man, why we didn't trade it for Larea? That would have been great to have Larea.
Yeah. He doesn't play left back.
What are your expectations on Toronto, John?
I mean, my expectations against Philly were pretty high for a home opener. So, I think we saw a very good attack, right? And I think we're going to see that again. I don't think any reason why Pašalić can't produce that again and more. Hopefully, Angulo turns it around and has a much better performance. Hopefully, the whole team turns it around and has a much better performance. I mean, the defense especially. The big question is how long is Jansen out for? Is this a real problem? The club hasn't said anything. They won't say anything. They never usually do. I think it's one of those where if he's out for a while, then we got to hope that Schlegel and Brekalo have been working on their relationship all week. And they're going to be, the new partnership for a while. And they got to figure it out. I don't think that Toronto are going to press us as well. They're the worst team last year. They've still got problems. Like they've still got Bernardeschi and Insigne they haven't really figured that out. They fired their manager. They got another new manager in. He is rated. Like people do like him, but still it's a long way to say they're good yet. So we have to win this game. The Philly opener was a good opportunity. This is a great opportunity for 3 points. So if we have the same defensive errors and shoot ourselves in the foot 2 games in a row, then that's an awful start to the season. We cannot let that happen. We must see a better defensive effort, and then we just need to see the same, if not more, from the attack. I think the attack last game, like I said, provided plenty of opportunities. There was plenty of goals to be had, lots of creation. Someone other than Pašalić needs to put the ball in the back of the net. I'll say that for sure. Enrique, Ojeda, Angulo, you got to step up. Atuesta, put the ball Dagger. Someone put the ball in the back of the net outside of Pašalić because we can't just be a one-man team again. So, yeah, that's what I'm hopeful for, and I have very high expectations.
Yeah, so Toronto FC has 5 players that are listed in Canada's preliminary roster for the Nations League finals. So Theo Corbono, Deandre Kerr, Richie Larea, Jonathan Osorio, and Kosi Thompson. So, I mean, pretty much is half the Canadian national team, under 23. So this is a young squad, Paola. It's a young squad, but it's a squad that, based on paper, at least, I think we have everything. The stadium, the fans. Even though people were complaining about the stadium and the pitch looks horrible, I don't know. But,
I've never seen the pitch like that, by the way, but that's a different topic. That's a different conversation.
But I think we have everything, I think we have everything to beat this team. I don't know. What are your expectations on what's coming up with Toronto?
I mean, my expectation is not to see the defense be like last Saturday. I think they're gonna figure things out for sure. This was like a wake up call for them, and I'd rather have it's painful, but I'd rather have it now that happened early in the season that in, I don't know, summertime or May time. I'd rather have it now to fix all our problems and go forward and looking into the future. Um, let's move on from Saturday. I'm expecting goals. I'm expecting to Toronto be aggressive on shots because I'm looking here at the stats against DC United last Saturday, and they got 12 shots and 7 on target. So I'm expecting for them to be aggressive. So that defense has to be on point and not let happen what those rookies mistake that happened on Saturday. So I'm expecting goals from us. I might say Atuesta get might one or even Ojeda because that Marco and Ojeda duo, Batman and Robin duo, something like that is brewing. So maybe we can see more
Superman
goals.
and Batman.
Superman and Ooh, I like that better. Superman.
The
and
Croatian
Batman.
Superman, as I
There you go.
started calling him.
So I'm expecting some shots from Toronto, and I think the defense needs to wake up
For sure.
for Saturday.
One player that it won't be there. It's this guy right here. Which would you say, John? This guy was the worst DP signing in history, in MLS history. I mean, $14 million, and now he refused to travel with the team to preseason. He pretty much just went back to Italy.
Toss it.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we complain about Muriel, it could be worse. We could have paid money for the guy, right? Like, look at the Muriel. I mean, they paid how much for this dude?
14 million. No, listen.
And what's even worse
14
is
million
like
in 2020. They got him for 14 million, and then in 2024, they paid him an extra 1.5 million. 15.4 he ended up earning in Toronto.
And worse than that, every window they try to get rid of him, and he just won't go anywhere. The man knows that he's just sitting on a golden egg, and he refuses to leave. Like, it's bad. So yeah, like I feel bad because I bagging on Muriel all the time, but it's true when you look at it from a player is a person, of course, and they're a human being. But when you look at them as part of a squad, and especially in MLS, where you can only spend so much money, right? If we're talking about Palmeiras or a big club in Brazil or a European club, when they have a guy like this on their roster, they just stick him on the bench and they go, bro, you're never going to play again. And we're just going to buy another guy who's better than you and pay him just as much money, and he'll play on the team. But in MLS, you can't do that. So you're just stuck with this player eating up a bunch of wages on your team and not producing anything. And Iniesta. God,
Insigne.
it's because of the hair. It threw me a second. Insigne, it is a prime example of that. So he's a bust for them. I just think also Toronto is just a bust right now in general. So like Paola said, there was a lot of encouraging signs that you want to see, see the stats there from Toronto. They're conceding a lot of goals. Well, the stats against Philly were good for us. We outshot them. All the attacking stats, we were better than Philly. We just, we hit the woodwork 3 times, with the post 3 times. So that sucks. We just need those shots to go in. And we need to, convert some of everyone's talking about, XG. Oh, this is what our XG was. In reality, XG means nothing. It's great. It shows that we could have scored more. We just didn't score more. And let's hope that our star man Pašalić has got his shooting boots on again, Luis, because right now it's all on you, buddy. You're the starting light.
I mean,
well, no, that's not fair. Ojeda,
look,
Ojeda's playing well too.
Pašalić signing reminds me of the really good, underrated, immediate impact signings MLS has had in a few years. Like, for example, Diego Rossi started that way. Hani Mukhtar started that way. These are players that really no one knew who Hani Mukhtar was before he came to MLS. You know what I mean? And he was great 2 seasons back to back. cornerstone for Nashville. Now, I want to ask you, just got to change the subject real quick here. Your expectations for Toronto, John, on this guy right here.
Hey, Nico Rodriguez.
Mind Messi's face right there.
We didn't really see much
He looks confused.
from Nico. He's I feel like we know that he's going to have to wait until he gets on the field. He's going to get like 20 minutes. I think it's for the first half of the year. He's just going to be a sub guy, right? So I think we're just going to see little pockets of him here and there. But I'm encouraged by what I see. I think he's like Pašalić in the sense that he just wants to attack. He's a raw winger that wants to attack people. A lot of people are concerned that these guys are going to lose that if Oscar, Oscar-fies them or whatever that means. But I think a lot of it I think it's more to do with he gets them to be defensive, but I don't think he ever tells them like, don't stop, doing what you're doing. I think just before Facu wasn't that kind of a winger. He just wouldn't run at people. And Angulo does run at people, but isn't massively successful with it. And Ojeda, I think, is a very aggressive attacker who just attacks whoever he wants. So Nico is in that same mark. If you bring him on, he's going to run it, guys. He's going to create attacking plays. And he just looks very hungry. So I'm excited to see more. But he's going to need time. He's very raw still. And this is a big jump up from what he was playing at before and the level in Colombia.
Paola, do you like his haircut?
I like,
He posted pictures of his haircut.
He looks good in that jersey, man.
Man, he makes the jersey look really good, man.
I don't know why.
I like the jersey.
And it's growing on me, by the way. I saw it.
Yeah, it is growing on me too, man.
On TV on Saturday because I couldn't.
See how big it is? Like it's really boxy. You're like, why do you feel like there's a lot of material? You notice
before
that?
It was fit. It was fitted.
It's definitely
now it's
It's what's
bad.
in right now, man. It's what's in right now.
There's no slim fit on this jersey. Sorry, boys.
No, but he reminds me of. Do you remember Toy Story? Sid, Sid the kid.
He does look like Sid. You're right.
He reminds me of
He's
Sid.
got the same forehead as Sid.
Luis, do you know who is Sid?
Oh yeah, from Toy Story.
Evil neighbor.
Yeah, that's right.
That's our Sid.
That's
right
not
there.
very nice. What are you trying to say about Nico?
Hey, but he's our Sid. Come on, he's in our side.
Nah, he's our Andy. You're our Andy, bro. No, I'm kidding.
No, No, I mean, high expectations for him for sure. I mean, I think hopefully Muriel and him, because they play together, hopefully they're able to find a partnership, or he's able to find a partnership with one of the wingers. I think he'd be great. Just kind of like how Pašalić has built a relationship with Ojeda. Seeing him build some connections, situations with somebody there. I mean, I think he's a very crafty player. Hopefully we see more of him. I think we're not gonna expect a massive season of him. I honestly don't. I think he, it's when Ojeda, Ramiro, and you guys probably remember when they first came into the team, they had maybe 2 goals, 3 assists, type of situation here and there coming off the bench. Ramiro was coming off the bench. So we expect that for him on his first season in the MLS. But if he makes an immediate impact further down the road, and hey, I'll take it all day, especially for the type of player that he is and the huge upside he has. Especially, look, every single Colombian media person I've spoken to about this kid has telling me he's a good kid. He's a kid that is very committed. He's gonna probably listening to everything Pareja's talking about, and he has high expectations there for Colombia too. They call him a young Luis Diaz.
Yeah,
over there.
If only he had
if
only he had a
no, I don't want to jinx him, but that's
Colombian player he could look up to in the squad, Luis.
Yeah, for sure. Some comments here. Tony S. I can see Nico starting in the summer for Pašalić since he hasn't had a break since August. Isn't every putter unique for the new kid this year? Says Pilot.
Yeah. So that material that's on there is basically just like they take the giant piece of material that's printed on. It's all the different pattern, and then they cut out all the shapes of the jerseys outside of inside of that. So basically no jersey is exactly the same because the pattern is not repeated the same on every one. It's just whichever part of that giant piece of material got cut out, that's what landed up on your jersey. So all of those unique shapes and patterns on every single jersey is different, which I think they didn't really do a good enough job, in my opinion, explaining it, because somebody told me that and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then when you think about it, you're like, yo,
they never explained it.
That's a really cool selling point that, like, I think was there, but was like a minor, like it should have been for me. Like they should have named this kit the unique kit, or like the individual kit or something like that. That's like every single one is like a snowflake. Every single one is different in that way.
You didn't explain that to me.
No,
I don't know if Luis knew.
No,
yeah,
the
I
record
kind of explained it like really loosely because I got explained it loosely, but when you actually understand the process of what it was, it's like, whoa, oh, okay, that's really cool. So, yeah, I think they should have maybe done a better job of explaining that.
Pilot said, John, they should hire you to advertise the jersey.
Yeah,
I second that.
They used to hire me to advertise the jersey.
He retired, guys.
Bring back the merch.
You can bring me out of retirement, but it'll cost you. It'll cost you. Yeah, but that's the coolest thing about this jersey, and that's because it's supposed to be like the ocean, right? So it's the patterns of the ocean and the wind and the hurricane, and that's why it's like, okay, when they went with that and they
the muddy
explained
puddles
it,
like Peppa Pig.
but what makes it unique is like every time the ocean is different because it's all like, free flowing and random, and so that's what makes it cool. So yeah, they didn't really, I don't think they did the best job. I hate to be critical.
Thank you, John, for that
the
explanation.
marketing
Now
and
it
the
makes
merch team,
sense.
because I love them, but yeah, I don't think they explained that well enough. And if I think once you do understand that, it makes it way cooler. Yeah,
I mean, now I'm
it's very
amazed.
cool. And also,
I'm
when you see it in
mind-blown.
person, I had a good look at it in the stadium, and it looks really cool. I think I'm gonna have to get one.
Hunker down. Any other OG Lion that gets frustrated when they see these new clubs come in the league and have immediate success? Does anyone else see the San Diego LA match last night? Wow, they look really good.
Dreyer got a 2 goals on his debut too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think these are new clubs that are coming, and obviously the hype is going to be there. There's not going to be people that are going to say, everything is going to be rainbows and sunshines for the first few seasons, and it was like this here in Orlando as well, and so I just feel like, good for them. I think LA underestimated this team, and I think that's why they lost. They underestimated this team tremendously.
Yeah,
and it's on them, I think.
And also, your first ever game, it's so like the players. It's like this is the first ever game of a squad. Like
Dreyer is the first person who's going to. It's in
like
history.
Our first ever game when Kaká scored that free kick that equalized against New York City. That is forever ingrained in my brain. So
I was there.
Donovan Ricketts was in goal in that game, and I will never forget that. Right?
I will never forget that either.
Yeah, but really, it's like that's the thing with San Diego. A lot of people have they been rated highly? Have a lot of people said their squad's going to be really good? No, so they might have started out with an incredible game against the reigning champs and win it, but at the end of the season, they might not make the playoffs. You know what I mean? This is the reality of MLS. And at some point, like remember St. Louis when they joined, and everyone was like, "Whoa, St. Louis had an incredible year." Then the next year, they didn't even make the playoffs. So it's all relative, right?
Yeah, people were saying we need to sign more German guys.
The only team that really came in and won it instantly, and we're all bitter about, is Atlanta, and that was the one that really, even Miami have come in and got messy. They still haven't won it. So, I think obviously we want to win it, and that's the biggest frustration for sure amongst fans. But there are other teams that are, like New York Red Bulls never won it, and they've been a founding team.
They were one of the founding.
They were just in the final MLS Cup. Imagine how, if you're a Red Bulls fan right now, you're cursing the world. You're so
I went
close, even closer than we were.
So I went to the opening game, John, for Kaká free kick.
Yeah, man. What a day.
And this is how crazy I was, man. Donovan Ricketts, man, and I became part of the Society 21, man.
Boom. There you go.
I got sold. Is Donovan Ricketts' fault, man.
Yeah. I was selling jerseys in the stadium, man. We sold
I'm part of
70,000 people that day. It was chaos that day.
It would be cool to build a time machine, man. Go back to that time and just, me going up to the merch, young me, much younger.
Yeah.
Coming up and like, hey, man, we're going to have a podcast in like 10 years.
10 years.
I mean, we knew each other back then, Lucy. I remember interacting with you back then when you were covering the Pride and stuff when I was still working at the team, Louis. So,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's way back.
Way back.
Alrighty, on Toronto, because we got way sidetracked here. On Toronto,
man.
we kind of said our piece on, who they are and what we expect. We expect to win. They're not very good. And on that, we did predictions last time. I predicted 2-1, and that was completely wrong. What did you predict, Paul? That wasn't it like 3-1 you predicted last game?
I don't.
You know what?
even
I'm gonna
remember.
write them all down this year. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make a
Put it in the spreadsheet.
I'm gonna make a spreadsheet so that we can keep track of our predictions every game, Louise.
Did I
And then
say
at the end of the
2?
year, we can see who is the most right and who is the most wrong.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It'll be fun.
Probably I'm the worst
Alrighty,
one.
so everyone remember theirs from last game and this game, and I'll put them in a spreadsheet. But I had 2-1 last game. This game, I don't know. You guys go.
Yeah, I had 2-0 last game.
2-0. Okay.
Definitely that did not happen. So in this game, faithful, baby. 3-0, man. 3-0 Orlando. Boom.
I will
3-0.
say
I'm
3
going
to
around.
1.
I'm feeling that. I'm
2-0.
feeling that.
I will say
Faith.
3 to 1.
I'm motivated.
I don't
3 to 1?
remember. I don't
3
remember
to
what I
1?
said last. Yeah, 3 to 1. 3 to 1. I don't remember what I said last Saturday. Last Monday.
We can look at the video, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I will say 3 to 1. I'm not
I know John
convinced
said
that left
2-1.
side
said
is.
I think you
2-0.
said 3-1 last time, Paula.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm not gonna jinx it. Look at the score. No.
So we're gonna.
I
Keep
think this
track
is
of-
2-0. I think
our
this is
predictions?
2-0. I think Pašalić gets another one, and I think Ojeda gets one this time. The combo, the double
All right.
duo.
I'm gonna
Let's
say.
Pašalić,
prevent
Ojeda,
Batman.
baby. Yeah, we need to come up with a good name. All right, that's everybody's job. Put it in the chat. Think about it for next week. What is
Ojeda
the
and
name of this new dynamic
Pašalić.
duo of Ojeda and Pašalić? What are we gonna nickname them? I feel like Batman and Robin's bad because one of them is Batman and one of them's Robin then, and I feel like that's harsh. They need to be like equal duo, you know?
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
But yeah, this game, I'm going to go 2-0 for sure. 2-0.
2-0.
Pašalić, Ojeda.
I would say 2-1, not 3-1. 2-1.
I think we were spoiled by 6 goals, whether they were for us or not last game. That was a lot of goals. So I think it's going to be a nice, comfortable 2-0 is what we need.
I think I'm gonna go for the shutout. I know I'm super positive, super hopeful. People are gonna kill me, but I'm going 3-0 Orlando. I think it's going to be Pašalić, Luis Muriel coming up a substitution, and then he's gonna go to John's section. He's gonna go like.
Yo, if he comes over to
Or
the
like
wall
this.
and he's shush in my direction, I'll be like Muriel, bro. I'll be like, no, I'll
John's
never
gonna
again.
jump.
If he just like scores a hattie or something, like if
Like
Muriel
Erchankara.
scores the hat trick that we have been waiting for since Laren left.
Exactly.
Since Laren, we haven't had
2017
a
or
hat
whatever it
trick,
was.
man.
If
Come
Muriel's,
on.
I will eat my hat. I will literally eat my hat. I will pay that man $100 of my own money and be like, here,
No.
thank you for the hat trick. But it ain't gonna happen, bro.
No, that's not gonna happen. Look, I
Pašalić's
think-
hat
I
trick
think
though was close. It was close. It was coming.
I'm going for Pašalić. I'm serious. I'm going for Muriel as the second goal. And then the third one, I think it's going to be a defender. So hopefully we see an Alex Freeman goal. It'd be good to see. Just a little hope. I believe that this team, now against Toronto, they have another chance to definitely prove the fans, that they're not gonna poop the bed this time, and this was just a blunder, right? A big blunder that cost us definitely a record with this. And with all due respect, I feel like they definitely messed up. The fans definitely were upset and with respectfully so. But they have another chance against Toronto. I think offensive wise, I think we have a great team. So 3-0 for me.
Do you have mine, John?
Yeah.
I like this. How about Hunger Down says, how about Thunder and Lightning? I like that. I like that. What about shake and bake, baby? Shake and bake. Come on,
Shake and bake, yeah.
I feel like Pašalić is the shake, and Ojeda's the bake.
That's the bake.
The bake.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I'm gonna make it. You heard it here. Shake and bake. That's what it is.
There you go. Shake and bake. Air Vega says, I think 2-1 Orlando. Guys, you guys can give your predictions too in the chat. So make sure you drop your predictions.
Yeah, please. I also want to say, I got one more thing for Luis. A surprise. I forgot about this. I was nerding out on Saturday. I was doing a little bit of nerdiness. I was sitting around thinking about the beginning of the season, thinking about all of the stuff that we did, Luis, preseason, and all the pods that we talked to, and all the predictions and everything. And then I decided I was going to put them all into this big diagram.
Oh, fantastic!
I can see all of the predictions. So I'm over here. I just put myself in just for the sake of it, but there's lots of other channels that I follow, or other accounts that I could find. People you might have heard of. MLS Moves, Eli Lesser TV, Designated Pundits we've been on and we are friends with, as well as Designated Players. The Morning Kick Around is a show. Nerdy Soccer Guy, Upper 90, MLS Digest. All of these are YouTube channels or content creators, guys that make stuff about MLS. So shout out to all of them. If you're watching,
check them out, guys.
All of you guys, check out any of these channels. They're all great guys making content just like us about MLS in general. So in general, you kind of hope that these guys have got fairly, unbiased opinions. And you can see across the board, it kind of gives you an average. Like you can see where we're always sort of between that 4th, 7th, 8th range. Miami, you're always up in here, 1, 2, the top of the table, up there. So it gives you an idea. We're kind of around about our expectations. Maybe we're hopeful that we're going to be a top 4 team, but everybody still sees us as a playoff team regardless. And then you can kind of see where Philadelphia were lying. They were like maybe a playoff team. They're looking around, averaging around 9, 10, 11 spots for most people. So that's why last game was so disappointing. But also look at Toronto. Everybody's got Toronto in the bottom 3, apart from like one guy has them finishing 11th is their highest. They have them finishing. So we got to be beating Toronto. And this is not us with our unbiased opinions. Here it is shown to you from everybody across MLS thinks Toronto are trash. So we got to beat them.
Montreal, I have a Montreal trash can. Everybody
they're down there. I had Montreal. So just for anybody listening, my prediction across the league, I've got Cincy coming first, Inter Miami second, Atlanta third, us fourth, Charlotte fifth, Red Bull sixth, Columbus seventh, Chicago eighth, New York 9th, Philly 10th, Nashville 11th, Montreal 12th, the Revs in 13th, DC in 14th, and Toronto dead last with that wooden spoon in 15th once again. So, and I think that kind of shows really where everybody lies. What do you guys think? I kind of asked you for you guys. I know you probably didn't have a chance to put them in. I'll put those in as well, like we talked about. Yeah, we're gonna put them in, and then we'll look at them at the end of the year, like we do with our season predictions. But yeah, your guys' thoughts on the kind of East and where we'll end up.
Go ahead, Paola.
No, I was gonna say I'm a slacker. I haven't done it yet, John, but I do like. I do like your.
This was extra homework, Paola. You just got to catch up to the class,
I'm that rebel student right here. No, I like yours, John. To be honest, I can see us being 4th, being 3rd, 2nd, that wiggle room. with last Saturday performance, I don't see us. No, I'm just kidding. No, but fourth
No,
is
yeah,
fine.
it's gonna be 8th, 9th if we perform like not even playoffs. We perform
Not
like that.
even, not even there. But I'm gonna do mine because I like the chart. If my boss see this, she's gonna be like, Paola, get ideas for work or something from John. No, but I do like it. I do like how the rest of the MLS pods are thinking about us and not having us be below what, 8?
Yeah,
And I
I
don't
think
even agree
they've
that
all
we're in
noticed
8.
that we're not going to be. None of them have us being a top 4 team, apart from like one other guy, 2 other guys actually. So
Jansen
that's good.
and
But
Nerdy
most of
Soccer
them
Guy.
have us between 5th to 8th.
I don't think we're gonna be 8. To be honest, I'm not gonna jinx it.
The
So
average is like 6th across,
yeah,
Yeah,
6 or
six,
which is
5th.
about fair, I
5 or
think.
6. Yeah.
I'm gonna do mine. So I promise, John.
Yeah, it shows you Charlotte have really taken
So
a jump up in people's opinions. Atlanta obviously taking a big jump up in people's opinions. Cincy always up there. Inter Miami are still up there. Rebel, the most interesting one, just before you go, Luis. If you look at Chicago, Chicago is like everybody thinks they're finishing in the same place. And the most variation is like the Revs. The Revs are like all over the shop. Like some people think the Revs will be good, some think that they'll be bad. So just interesting points.
yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward. I mean, what I heard in this off season, for everybody that's watching, um, it's the Charlotte and Atlanta are going to be the hottest teams in the East. Is what I heard. Like a lot of the pundits,
Yeah, a lot of people think that.
Atlanta, Charlotte, the best jersey in the MLS. Charlotte, I love the
They're
crowd.
perceived to be the hottest right now, right?
Right.
They
So
perceive to have the best offseason.
So I want to see Charlotte the next 3 games coming up, because Charlotte, the first half of the season is decided in the first 2 weeks of March for them. So Charlotte is playing against Atlanta March 1st. Then they play Inter Miami, and then they play Cincinnati. These are direct contenders for them to be that team that they want to be. So if they lose
They
against
struggled day 1 against Seattle.
they only had like, I think, 4 shots on goal or something like that.
Yeah, they didn't play well. They got lucky.
So if they lose against these 3 teams coming up, Charlotte's gonna go down. Like, it's gonna go down, and I think us, based on the schedule, I think we could be pretty good coming up. Atlanta, obviously, because of all the money that they've spent, it's gonna be up there. So I think John's assessment is pretty good. I think Cincinnati's flying. I think Cincinnati has a great defense.
Cincinnati, man.
Cincinnati is fantastic.
Evander and Denke
Evander,
together is just
they're cooking,
that's
man.
an unreal combo. So
Unreal,
we got to watch out for them, and that's why I put them even higher than Miami, because I also feel like Miami are going to focus on the cups and less on the league this year.
I agree with that, John.
I think they're going to stay messy, and therefore they just won't win the league this year, but they'll have him ready for.
I was gonna tell you about that too. I mean, I'm glad that you brought it up. Agree with you. I think there's 2 things about Inter Miami that fans from Inter don't want to hear. Number one is you guys picked one of the Mascherano as a coach, man. He doesn't even inspire my hand sanitizer, man. He really doesn't even inspire my hand sanitizer. He has no soul. He's dead inside. And he's unfortunately, that's gonna really, it's you guys will see, just trust me. I've seen it on the under 20s for Argentina, one of the most prestigious under 20 teams probably ever. He botched it completely, man, and he got a prime job with Inter Miami, getting paid like double what he was making. Like, when you've worked so hard, getting rewarded for doing bad things, you know what I mean? So either way, I think Inter is going to struggle a little bit. I don't think he's going to be that high up. I think maybe 3rd, even 4th, man. I think Cincinnati, Atlanta, and maybe the Red Bulls. You're sleeping on the Red Bulls. I think the Red Bulls are probably going to be a little up there.
Maybe.
And we're going to be fighting that 4, 5, 6. In my opinion,
I think that's your top 6 teams right now in this league in the East. Is Cincy, Inter Miami, Atlanta, us, Charlotte, and Red Bulls.
Yep.
Some
I
people
agree.
might not put us in that top six, and they might put their club in
They
there
don't wanna
in the
put
top
us there.
six, but somewhere around there is about your top 5 or 6 clubs. How good, those. I think the top 3 or 4 are debatable for sure. We'll have to see. And Atlanta, I was laughing because they spent 32 million, and their guy Lat, he got a brace on the opening day, and we also had an opening day brace, and we spent 4 million. So
Th-
you know what I mean? Like, it's all relative, right? And maybe at the end of the
That's good
season,
business,
Lat
though,
will
don't
have
you
way
think?
more goals than Pašalić, and that will be an erroneous stat. But I'm just looking at value for money from one game out, right? You can spend the same amount of money, and you look at the production. If the production's there, if the player's worth what he's worth, it doesn't matter if they're 20 million or 5 million, as long as they can produce. Alrighty. Luis, you want to run us through the socials, and then we'll get out of here?
Yeah, for sure. I want to first and foremost thank everybody. 205 people live right now, 185 people on X, about 30 people
Great
on
comments
YouTube.
today.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Fantastic comments. Thank you for making the conversation so seamless. So thank you guys for your support. Let's read some more comments real quick before we go. It says, how about thunder and lightning? There you go. Peanut butter and jelly. That would be a good one too.
Peanut butter jelly.
Uh, the hunker down 4-2 reverse course from Saturday. You imagine that? 4-2.
It
But
will be great.
I'll just take 4-0, please.
yeah, 4-2 the other way around.
You
Man,
can hold the 2. Just hold the
that'll be
2.
hilarious.
Give me the 4.
Imari Williams, thank you, Mr. Imari. Says 2-0 City. Backland takes it personal. 1 vote for Shake and Bake. I agree with Shake and Bake.
Schlegel
I like
scores a
Schlegel.
hat trick. He took it really personal.
Yeah, we need the backline to definitely wake
It was
up from their slumber.
this last Saturday was a wake up call. I'm telling you, slap in the face.
Yeah, I mean, look, guys. All I'm saying is this, and I'd say with all my heart, man. I mean, have faith in this team. I mean, I know it's tough, but that's the whole thing about soccer, man. You guys, we're not, we're not gonna be, Chelsea, Man City. You know what I mean? Look at Man City now with all their money. Look where they are.
I was
right now.
gonna say.
Look at Guardiola. You know what I mean? Highly regarded, and now everybody wants to sack him. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah, plenty of teams win the league and they lose their first game of the season. It's common.
Yeah, it's part of the game, but I feel like this just started, and let's see what happens. I think the guys are gonna be motivated, and they're gonna definitely need your support, and I know you guys are gonna be there. So I mean, rain or shine, I mean, you guys are definitely gonna be there, and again, I was really disappointed in the loss. I think everybody was, but I think we're gonna move forward, turn the page, and I think we do have the squad to make this work. So you can find us at Spotify and Apple Podcasts, audio form and video form as well. We're on X at LP_podcast, Instagram, Loud and Proud Orlando, LP_podcast, Facebook, YouTube as LPO_podcast, Loud and Proud Orlando. We're also on Blue Sky as well as Loud and Proud Orlando. So thank you guys for your support. Anything else you want to say before we go, John?
No, I mean the season has started. We usually right now would go to our Pride Pod, but we're not having a Pride Pod this week. This will be the last week that we don't have one though, because next week we'll be back with of course we'll be back reviewing the Toronto game and getting ready for City's next game. But we'll also
we
be
have
ready.
The season preview too this weekend.
Yes, exactly. So we will be previewing the season for Orlando Pride next week, as well as previewing the game, the Challenge Cup, where Orlando Pride plays the Washington Spirits in the sort of Super Cup style preseason game, where it's our first chance of winning a trophy already. We might have a trophy before the season even starts with Orlando Pride. So get ready for that next season. If you have not got your tickets yet, get a ticket to that game, because you're going to want to come watch some soccer. Orlando City, doesn't always guarantee you wins, but right now Orlando Pride, I can guarantee to put a smile on your face. So come check them out as well as their season gets close to kicking off.
For sure. OCB as well, I'm sure for the
we're getting close to the home opener of OCB. I might try and see if I can get out to that.
for the STMs too. They have that bonus. So
Yep. All
Paola,
of these are included in your season ticket.
that's right. Anything you want to add before we go?
No, thanks for the support, and remember, us fans, we stick around between the thick and thin. So remember, this is just trust the process. So this is the beginning of the season. Let's hope for the best. I know I was frustrated too, but stick around. The future looks brighter.
For sure, guys. Thank you for your support. And as always, vamos Orlando.
Vamos,
Guys, thank you for your
Orlando.
Vamos,
support.
Orlando!
Have a good one. Thank you so much.